Mm-hmm.
On there early?
Well, we got to get it started so I can get this shared onto the other page. Hold tight, hold tight. So what I do is I go into the Good Time Tommy page and then I share this over to my page.
Baby, you're so smart.
I'm a genius. I'm a genius in my own mind. In my
Smartest man I
own mind. Share on my own timeline. Imagine if you stayed on.
Do you have any people on yet? There you are. And then I'll share. Share.
You already on there?
I'm on there. I can't see you though.
Nobody can. Nobody can. I'm about to get started. Hey, I see you're on here, Whitney. Way.
I'm here.
Thank you so much. Hey, one thing I can do is I can count on you, Brittany Renee, to be here for me. So
Can't do it without me.
I cannot do it without you. So everybody that's about to get on here tonight, I came up. Man, I had one of them days. One of them days where it seemed like nothing went my way. Not one thing. So I had to come home. And Brittany Renee had to make me some nice water. Some water. So, hey, everybody that's getting on here, I would really be grateful if you would share the stream. If you would also, if this stream has been shared onto your page, I would really, if you like the Good Time Tommy page on Facebook. So, everybody that's out there, please, Carrie McDonald, I need to come get a massage. Hey, I got you lined up coming soon. So, hey, here's what we're talking about tonight. If you do not know who I am, let me introduce myself. My name is Tommy, and I'm pissed off the VIP magazine put me as Tommy Davidson when I specifically told them I'm Good Time Tommy. But, so that makes me so angry. But my name's Tommy Davidson. I go by Good Time Tommy. I'm building a brand. Hashtag GTT. The purpose of Straight From The Gut every Thursday night at 8 o'clock is I'm 44 years old. I like to look back and say, what could I have done? Ryan Mudd, I'm sorry I did not respond to your text, but you did make me think. I got to get something out there. I got to get my post out there. So I will get back with you, buddy. But tonight you're going to have some good insight on this. This show is really about I want to help other people. Wednesday I do a show, Real Estate 101. That's real estate specific. Thursday night, I like to do my self-improvement stuff. I am huge into self-development. I wish, Brittany Renee, I didn't wait till I was 40 or 36 years old to start that journey of self-development. So here's how you could help me. If you like what I'm saying, please share the stream onto your stream. That's all I need from you is to help me spread the word of what I'm wanting to do. And all you got to do is go right down there and hit share that stream. So tonight's topic, I'm just going to, Coach Burt tells this to me. My fitness coach, Rod Key, says it, long obedience in the same direction. Tom Krager, how long have you been a writer? Think about that. You've had a long obedience in the same direction. And it takes a long time, but when you first start doing something, Brittany Renee, you're underpaid. You're underpaid, and there's no way to get past it. The longer you do something, it eventually works itself out to where you get overpaid.
Consistency is key.
Tom Krager, one of these days, you're going to be overpaid for what you do, man, believe it or not. So I always like to reflect back on myself, and I'm going to share my faults, what I did wrong, and hopefully this can help you. Hopefully you can hear old Good Time Tommy's story, and you don't have to make these same mistakes. So I believe that rule, that 10,000 hour rule, where you do something for 10,000 hours, greatness will follow you. Have you ever heard that? Stevie Z, I see you're on here. I really appreciate you getting on here, sharing the love, man. Can't do it without people like you. So, hey, let's reflect back on me after college, okay? I didn't develop enough traction anywhere. I started out, I wanted to be a stockbroker, and I got into that line of work. It was very challenging. Being a stockbroker is extremely tough. I mean, it is so hard, especially at 27 years old. Going out, are you working on something over there, Brittany Renee?
I'm multitasking.
You're not multitasking. So at 27 years old, I want to be a stockbroker. And at that age, trying to go out and raise money, that's what you're really trying to do in your stockbroker. I was thinking of the Wall Street movie, how I could pick stocks, manage millions of dollars. That's what I thought I was getting into. I did not know it was really just a sales job. So if you ever see somebody that's a financial advisor, they're salespeople. And it is a it's a skilled, they do have a skill there. So I don't want to discredit what they do, but they're salespeople. And I got into that job, and it was so hard to make it. I never could last, because like in Morgan Stanley, my first job, they would hire 250 people probably every 2 or 3 months across the world, across the country. And then they would break you down into quartile systems, like first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, fourth quartile. And after like the first quarter, they would start ranking you. The top people would be in the first and second, third and fourth. Fourth would get fired. So that pool kept getting smaller and smaller. So after like a year, if you were in the fourth quartile, you weren't going to be there. In the third, you probably weren't. So really, they were just weeding out. They were out of 250 people across the country. They were probably only trying to keep 25%. So 25, maybe they were trying to keep 60, 70 people. That's all they were trying to do, keep a year. So I didn't make it very long. I was there maybe 6 months, 7 months, and my branch manager called me in there and set me down. He said, "Hey, Tommy, you're a good guy. We like you, but I just don't think this is your cup of tea." And that was it. I was gone.
You're axed.
Hit the road, dude. You kind of knew it was coming because you knew where you were in these quartiles. So, okay, from that job, I wasn't finished because I thought, man, this is what I'm going to do. I'm young. I'm just going to bounce back. Now I'm going to go to Morgan Keegan. So I go to Morgan Keegan, and man, I started really hating the job. Started hating it. Hated it to begin with. Hated the idea I was going to come in and I was going to call people and ask them for money. So really what I would do is I would come in and I would play on that internet. I wasn't calling no damn body. I didn't want to pick up that phone and say, "Hey, Brittany, you got any money? You got any money?" Hey, Ryan Mudge, you could do that if that's what you really, really wanted to do, because you don't have any fear. That is a quality that you need to embrace. You have no fear, and rejection does not bother you. So that's one of your strengths. You may be able to do that. I didn't have any connections. Nobody was going to give me money, so I lasted there maybe 4 or 5 months. I knew this was in Nashville, so I knew some people in Murfreesboro, so I took yet another job in the fight. Hey, I need you.
Baby, I'm trying. It's freezing.
Mine is too. Dadgummit. So I took a job in Murfreesboro with another financial service firm, and this was with a bank, so I thought, you know what, there's potential here. People are going to refer people upstairs to me. What are you looking so mad at? I'll call you out, girl. Huh? So I was thinking people would refer me upstairs. Guess what they did? They didn't refer me upstairs. Nobody came. So I would go around to other people. I'd get out of the office. Very unproductive. So my late 20s, I did not get any traction. I didn't have any of that obedience in the same direction. I was never building momentum. So at 30 years old, John Jones recruited me to get into real estate. Real estate was where, hey, what are you doing over there? Well, ask me a question. I need you.
You're in the middle of
So,
talking.
so John Jones asked me to get into real estate. And because of John, I had early success, or early success for me. And it was really only because of John Jones helping me get through this. But here was my problem. At 30 years old, I had no focus. I wasn't committed to getting better. So for several years, let's just say from the time I was 30 to 35 years old, I was coming in and I was very, very reactive to my day. John was very good at getting incoming calls. So my job was easy because the market was good and there was a lot of easy phone calls where people would call in and all we had to do is go out there and show them houses. But what I was really missing was I had no focus. I had nothing in place that was building consistency towards an outcome. Does that make sense? So I wasn't doing things every day that was making me better. Now, fast forward 5 years is when the Great Recession hit. About from 2003 to 2008, I could get by because the market was so good. So 2008, that's when the market started to correct. Been doing it about 5 years, and Coach Burt came into my life. So then I started to develop focus. That was the only thing I was working on. That's the only thing I was developing. It was some kind of focus. But that wasn't enough. So when I got around Michael Burt, I started to dream bigger. I wanted to accomplish more things, but I still wasn't doing things outside of my mind. I wasn't doing the things that I needed to do to get to another level. It was just my mind. My mind was starting to move forward. Years 5, years 6. So self-improvement it takes a long time for what you're doing to start reaping those rewards. So I was doing it and nothing was happening and it felt like it was taking a long time. So after after probably year 8 into my life, or into this my life as a real estate agent, I hired someone, and then I started to develop some structures. And when I started developing these structures, my income, it was almost into it was getting close to year 10. I've been doing this same industry going on 10 years. I wasn't focused for 5 of those years, but I was in the same industry. And I believe once you get to 10,000 hours, I do believe things start to change for you. So after year 10, I'd hired somebody. I started to develop some structures. Things started, I was now experiencing, after 10 years, growth. Steady, predictable growth. I had somebody helping me. Then over the next 3 to 4 years, I could tell it was paying off. So we were building. Hey, Swifty, thank you for getting on here, friend. So we were building more and more. And then it wasn't until this last year that I started to experience a niche where I was getting so focused just on one thing. Now, in the last year, I have zeroed in on my one thing, like that book we read. I've gotten focused on me doing one thing. And since I have narrowed my focus, I've been doing this 14 years. Over the last 4 or 5 years, I've been extremely focused on building a team. For the first time in my life, over these years, I see payoffs in that. And this isn't just about work. Imagine if I could stick to my diet. And imagine if I could lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. Imagine what that would look like after 3 months.
Right.
What happens to me, though?
You get hangry.
I get off course. Our life gets off course. We have to start all over again. A lot of times, whenever I went from 245 to 195, I was doing all these things over the course, over 6 months. And then I just totally got off track. And then, hey, I went back from 195 to 227 over a few months.
Do you think it's because of me? You got comfortable?
No, I just think I got away from doing these things that build momentum. You'll start to see great successes in your life when you're doing these small incremental things day after day after day. I was with Ronnie Martin today, and Ronnie Martin was talking about how he does not worry about results. He worries, I know this is the big buzz out there because of Nick Saban, he focuses every single day on the process. What is it that I'm supposed to be doing every single day? But I can tell you, I'm very impatient.
We try to rush to the finish line.
That's exactly right. And most of us, our finish line is we want more money. We want to lose weight now. That's what our focus is. We're focusing on that end result as opposed to focusing on the little things that we should be doing. I call that the process. It's whatever. So imagine, what would your life be like if you stayed on course? Imagine if you planned your day before your day the night before. Imagine if you said, I'm going to accomplish these things tomorrow. And if you did that it's so hard for most of us to sit down and say, you know what, I'm going to invest this 15 minutes and plan my day out tomorrow. If you do that, though, I have always experienced gains. I've always experienced something.
You have a hit list.
You got to have a game plan or you could be like me for the first 10 years of my life where I was coming into my job and it was just very reactive. My day was always dependent upon who was going to call me or was John Jones going to give me this lead. You got a question over there, Missy?
Not yet.
I need one. I need you to ask me something.
You were just in the middle of a story.
Well, I still I like it whenever you ask me questions. Okay. I'm good when you ask me questions.
Maybe you're good regardless.
Well, I appreciate that.
You're perfect.
So, one of the biggest regrets I have is it took me way too long to find my one thing. It took me way too long. Imagine if I could have gotten to this a lot sooner. So I didn't listen to people that probably could have told me. So I don't know if any of you people that are going to watch this, if anybody in your life is telling you this is what you should do. This is the thing that you should be doing. Hey, where's my mama? She just let that good time. So Brittany Renee. Hey, Richard Niece, Joel Niece.
She actually texted me, seeing if your show is on tonight.
Oh, it's on here, Mama. So imagine if somebody told you what you should be doing and you listened to it, but for so long, well, you're 32 years old. You're ahead of where I was when you started listening. Mm-hmm. You've made God's timing is hey, Mama, I love you. Thank you for getting on here, Mama. We're talking about what would your life look like if you started a course and whatever the course was, you stayed on it. It didn't matter. You just stayed on course. It's very easy to use your diet. It's also very easy to use saving money. You know, I sit here and look, man, I need X amount of dollars. And it's always an unrealistic amount of dollars. I'm not going to get to that unrealistic dollar, though, until I start saving money, and then I can turn the money into bigger money. Mm-hmm. But we always are wanting that end result. We're really not interested at all in a process that gets us there because we're impatient.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest problem.
Instant gratification. Everybody loves it.
It's probably the biggest problem that we're facing right now is we don't have any patience. I don't have patience. You don't have patience. Hardly anybody has patience when it comes to what you want, especially in business, in that. What do you think about that?
I believe it.
Do you?
Yeah.
So,
wholeheartedly.
You have any questions? Anything? Ask me something about my story. Hey, Corey Martin, how are you doing? Coach Burt, what we're talking about tonight is a long obedience in the same direction. One thing that he's telling everybody is right now, Coach Bird has hit like a new level. He's playing an all new level. And he's convinced it's because of his same obedience in the same direction. Mm-hmm. For me, I would try this, then I would try something different. Then I could never stay focused. And because I never stay focused, I didn't get traction. I didn't get to build things. Right. I didn't get to build upon that. So I'm not very systematic. You're systematic, aren't you? I have finally I have become 100% certain of this. Systems work.
Hey, you got a system.
I do have a system. But, okay, to everybody that's on here right now, do you have a system? Coach Burt was talking about...
Hey, Tommy, talk about having a career life coach and what that means to personal growth and success.
I talk about having a career life coach. Well, my coach, Michael Burt, does not consider himself a life coach. So he's on here, and I don't want him to think I'm not taking up for him. He's a business coach, and what he did for me, BJ, is I was a smaller thinker. The more I was around him, he calls it mind expansion. And the bigger my mind got, the more I could see opportunities, the more I could create an opportunity. So some people wait for something to happen while other people can create it. I was not smart enough to create those things. And I'm just being honest with myself. Now, I look at myself now, I don't know, some people might say, hey, your intelligence is whatever it is. But I do believe you can create more bandwidth in your mind. I do think you can grow your intelligence, because I can clearly tell you this. I think different. I can see things that I used to couldn't. I can see something that makes sense today, or now I can look at something and see how I can make it work. Mm-hmm. Can't see the picture when you're inside the frame. Well, the problem for me, Richard, back in those days is my frame, the frame I was stuck in was so small. I couldn't see this. How am I ever going to do more than 50 real estate deals? How am I ever going to do it? That's kind of where my thinking was so contracted. It was so small. Because I was thinking only me. I wasn't thinking. BJ, one of the things that Coach Burt told me, and hey, you are to go to one of his classes. He'll let you come there for free, BJ. And I can tell you, it changed my life. But whenever my thinking got bigger and more creative, I started to understand how I could leverage people. I could leverage time. I could multiply our production by bringing in other people. I did it forever. I'm like, I saw everything outside of my time and my ability as a liability. I didn't understand how I could make this or that an asset. I didn't understand that. I did not. So my mama said sometimes things fall out of the sky, but you can't count on that. That's right. Brittany Renee fell out of the sky, didn't you?
I'm an angel.
She fell right in here in my life.
You see my halo?
I do. So I think the hard thing for people to do is understand this. Your life really won't get better unless you bring other people into your life that can help you think different. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we just think, I always thought, you know what, as I get older, these things are just going to naturally occur. Organically, my life is going to get better. Organically, without me doing anything, I'm going to start making more money.
Did you really think that, honey?
I thought it. I just thought, you know what, one of these days I'm going to be successful. One of these days one of these days things are going to go my way. I did think that, but they would not have gone that way unless I got around newer people that helped challenge my thinking.
Right.
It wasn't going to, I would not have gotten there, and I'm still nowhere near. So whenever I'm talking about this, I'm still nowhere near where I want to be. So I've got to keep creating more mind expansion. And I think the only way you can do that is reading content, watching YouTube videos, going to seminars. You've got to constantly feed your mind. Me and cousin Charlie come in we're supposed to come in every day and train ourselves on scripting, how to control conversations. But what's crazy is we could go through for 30 minutes and go through stuff, and the next day we come in there and we don't remember any of it. See, someday never happens for many. When we know better, we do better. Hey Kim, how are you doing, girl? Coach Burt. So it's amazing to me how much you've got to keep feeding your mind to just keep retaining stuff. Some people can read something, they can remember it.
Yeah. It's like a sponge. Their brain's like a sponge.
I'm not like that. I've got to read, like whenever I'm reading a book, I may have to read the same page 5 times while I'm reading it because I can't remember anything. I'm sitting there thinking about what I got to do tomorrow, but I'm reading through the words. Some people can retain it, like Coach Burt. He can hear something and it's like he's like Google. I mean, he can just spit it back out where I'm like, I don't even understand how you knew that. Then I don't know how you could recall it. But I know this: the more you absorb stuff, the easier it gets. Mm-hmm. Richard Neese, mastery versus overload. One concept can make you a million. You know, I've got a coach, Richard, that is a brand builder, Robert Sislow. And I tell Coach Burt this all the time, that I could talk to Sislow or I could go to a Monster Producer class, and in 10 minutes, I've got all I need. I don't need 45 minutes. I don't need things. I got all I need. Now I just need to go execute this one thing. What's BJ asking? Right. Yeah.
Speaking of challenging your thoughts, I have been listening to Grant Cardone almost daily. Tell me something you take away from him, and what is something you apply to your life daily?
The one thing that I completely agree with him is you've got to do so much more than you think you'll have to do. Like if you think you've got to do this much to accomplish your goal, you've got to really 10x that to get what you want.
The 10x concept.
I mean, for the past couple years, for example, do I look like a monkey when I'm sitting there scratching my head like that? I've been on a quest to do 100 transactions, and every July I feel like we're going to get there. Because of that, we kind of ease back. And last year we did 90. That's the most we've ever done, was 90 homes last year. This year, I think we're going to get there, but there's things I've put in place to think bigger than 100. So that's one of the things. You can get so much stuff from Grant. Every day I listen to something of Grant Cardone, BJ, every single day. And every single time I listen to the guy, there's something new that I take from it. But
so what's like one thing that you apply every day besides the 10x?
Well, the one thing that I try to do every single day is something with his scripting, his mastering objections, the way you communicate, the way you control a sales call. That's the one thing that I want our whole office to work on every day, is his overcoming objections.
Yeah. Hey, your other coach.
Hey, Rod Key's on here. See, Rod Key's another coach that I always talk about. I can get really passionate about this because I cannot get anywhere near the results physically without Rod Key. Because today we were on that treadmill, and if I didn't have him on there pushing me, there's no way I would have finished that workout. Mm-hmm. You work out a lot harder when you have a coach. You work a lot harder when you've got a coach.
Yeah.
You push yourself a lot harder when you've got a coach.
That person's holding you accountable.
We depend on our broker. Things change. That's right, Mama. Things do change.
Weatherman. How
Weatherman.
do you overcome objections in real estate?
Well, it doesn't.
Let's talk about the stuff, shall we?
Well, Ron, if you want, now I know that you are reading his books. If you want to come over to my office one day, I'll show you the program, how he breaks it down. It doesn't matter if it's in real estate. It doesn't matter what it is. Today, one of my best friends stayed with me last night, Scott Nagy. And we were talking about business. And Scott Nagy is one of the most brilliant people you can ever meet. And we were talking about it does not matter what the business is. It doesn't matter what the sales are or whatever the sales is. Business is like a car. Some cars may be different, but you're still driving a car. So let's take sales. Whether you're selling cars, whether you're selling real estate, it does not matter what you're selling, it's still overcoming objections, breaking it down where it's listen, acknowledge, isolate. Then you're validating. And up until like a year ago, my way of selling was always building a stronger relationship. It was always about the relationship. So when you're a relationship builder, intentions get high. What we naturally do is we will usually do whatever it takes to bring the tensions back down. Usually we're giving away money. Usually we're doing something that we don't need to. That's why if you really want to learn how to sell, get a book called The Challenger Sale. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of it. I don't remember the author's name, but The Challenger Sale. It is a fascinating book about, it breaks into, most salespeople fit into one of 5 groups, and they go through, and this was during a recession. This was
Sale, S-A-L-E?
Yep.
Or S-E-L-L?
S-A-L-E. And it was during the Great Recession whenever they did this, what am I called? The sample or whatever. When they were doing the testing, when they would go back and they would measure the results. What is that called?
An evaluation?
Whatever you want to call it. But they did it and they came back and they showed every salesperson clearly fits into one of these 5 groups. And then it shows who the top performing salespeople were. And really the people that are the most dominant salespeople have more of a dominating personality. They're challengers. Now they challenge you not just by talking down to you, but they challenge you to think a certain way. They don't just agree with you like a relationship builder who never wants tensions to get high.
Right.
Quantitative analysis. Richard Neese hey, Richard Neese, you're so smart. So, when I look at a guy, Richard, how long have you been in real estate? Now, Richard Neese is an agent in Coleman, Alabama, and he's a young guy, and he's probably one of the hardest working. He's like a little Michael Bird of real estate. I mean, he is a true grinder. He hasn't been in the business very long at all, but you can see he works systems. He goes to work, and he's really working systems.
Like a Matt Sargent? Where from this time to this time you call and you do this and
probably 2 years next week. Richard, how many homes will you sell this week or this year? I think Richard's going to sell around 50 homes. Second year in the business. He's not on a team. He is a dominant player in his marketplace.
That's great.
Now, Richard, what was your background before you got into real estate? Because you do things, I know you're a monster producer, you do things, hey, Blair Braswell, I know you do things that Coach tells you to do, 62 plus,
Ooh.
Dang, man.
You need to move to Murfreesboro and get on your team.
Maybe I need to go get on his team, these 29, 62 plus houses. Do you know, I don't even know if you've got a team yet. I just know that this guy's an insane workaholic. Okay, law enforcement and military. So see, hey, military, he does systems, he does structures. Richard, do you know what your day is going to look like tomorrow? He probably knows every hour. He's probably that disciplined. What would my life look like if I said, you know what? Here, just got a buyer's agent train. Okay. What would my life be like if tomorrow, every hour or whatever, I had it all blocked off? This is what I'm going to do. So the reason why I don't have our house on 38 yet is because I'm not doing this stuff. Richard Neat's been in the business 2 years, and he's going to sell.
If you realize this and you know it, then why wouldn't you do what it takes? Because then you're going to be on here doing your Thursday night session. 10 years from now, you're going to say, if only I would have done that.
I could have gotten to 100 houses.
Right.
The reason why we don't do something is because that's where the hard work is. The easy work is sitting here and saying it. It's a lot easier to plan things out than to go do it.
But the first step is acknowledgement.
Boy, hey, you making me feel good, Richard Neese. Sure do appreciate that.
He needs to be buttered up today, Richard. He's had a terrible day.
Richard, I've had one of those days. Maybe tonight's show should have been about bounce back, because today was one of those days where, nothing seemed to go right.
Couldn't even log on to the Wi-Fi.
Couldn't even. I couldn't even get on here. Then I didn't think I was going to be able to do the show. But hey, Richard, my life changed when Coach Burt brought out Person of Interest. That was the one thing that got me motivated. So since Person of Interest came out 4 or 5 years ago, I have been on a mission to become that person of interest. I've seen that. I like that. You're doing really good with that. And I don't know if many other people in your marketplace doing that, but man, if you keep on your course, Richard.
Does he do a live show too?
Yeah.
He does?
The real estate rundown, and when the tide comes off, I don't know what days, but I just see it, the tide comes off. But you know what's cool about Richard? He's very intense. He's a very intense guy. So people would probably like to see a vulnerable side of Richard.
Right.
Because, he's a hard-charging, workaholic kind of guy. Former military, former police officer. Very intense guy. But, one of the things that I really what I was wanting to talk about tonight, but Brittany did remind me, you kind of talk about this stuff all the time, and that's how attractive vulnerability is. Whenever you can, I was thinking about something today while I was in a meeting, and I was just very open about something, and the person was, it was very endearing to them. People, you don't want to be around people that are know-it-alls. That's probably, and whenever things go, luckily over the last few years for me, things have gone my way. But I've got to convince myself, hey, that ain't, some of it's because of me, but a lot of it's also because of the real estate market. A lot of it is because of John Jones, Joey Richardson, Old South Properties. There's a lot of people that have helped me. It ain't all me, but so that's why I've got to constantly remind myself of that.
But it has a lot to do with you because they chose to work with you. They chose.
That's right, but I think everything's a mindset. I need to always remain grateful for the people. Always. And these people that are saying, hey, we're using him because he's good, they could always say, you know what, we don't want to use him anymore for whatever reason. So they are the one that has the power. Mm-hmm. What other question you had, Brittany Renee?
So how are we going to get you on track to get your day planned? Since you've acknowledged, what's the next step?
We're going to, let me read what BJ Parker. We'll come on.
Can you answer my question and then move on to another question?
It sounds easy, but whenever there's 4 other people in the office depending on me that are coming to me and asking, what do we need to do about something? I'm
making excuses.
Say what?
Are you making excuses?
Probably. Oh, and my mama gave me referrals. But, there's some things that I've got to do. Mm-hmm. And sometimes this one thing could end up being, today, that one thing ended up being an all-day thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know.
It was an all-day thing. Mm-hmm. One of the things that Grant Cardone talks about is buying a house is a bad idea. Talk about your thoughts on this and your thoughts of renting versus buying. Well, I do sell houses, so let me at least put that out there. Ronnie Martin, hey, my favorite banker's on here. I believe that from an investing mindset, BJ, If it weren't for Brittany, we wouldn't be living where we are. Brittany and Nicholas, I would have been fine not buying this house. And lucky. Because the one thing that my banker, Ronnie Martin, has taught me, a house is an expense. A house is a liability whenever you're looking from an accounting or from a financial standpoint. But there's things that go into a house that you own that there is intangible. Like, I get a lot of joy out of the fact that Nicholas has a neighborhood of friends. He gets to go to a school that Brittany is happy about. Brittany wanted to move to this neighborhood. So it's easy to say don't buy a house.
It's a home. We made it a home.
Yeah. I do think there's more personal satisfaction in your home if you own it. So I do understand what Grant Cardone is saying about it's better to rent where you live and own where other people live. But if you're going to a commercial banker like Ronnie Martin, he's going to, first off, you got to bring your tax returns in. Then he's going to look at all your expenses. So you're probably going to have more outgoing expenses that you're committed to when you own a house. So it does limit your borrowing power. But, you know, there's always other ways to make up for your house. Michael Burt bought a big house, a real big house. And part of his plan is to turn that liability into an asset. So what does he do? He has a lot of get-togethers with the people that he's coaching. So a few times a year, you're going to go out there, and he has these get-togethers, which helps him make more money. Another thing, when he pulls up and he sees that house, it motivates him to make more money. Whenever he doesn't want to do something, he's got to think about, hey, I got this house. I've got Ella, I've got Natalie to support. So I am very torn on the fact, should you buy or should you rent your own home? I disagree with the purpose of what he says, because he thinks people should be more mobile. He thinks people should, part of his plan is you should be able to pack up and move at any time. But that's not something, and he'll tell you this, he got comfortable in places like he moved from Lake Charles, Louisiana, then he moved to Houston, then to San Diego, then LA, and then to Miami. But all these moves, he forced himself to do it because he had gotten to a very stale comfort spot in his life. Mm-hmm. So I really think there's a lot of personal satisfaction in owning the home. Ronnie Martin, what do you think?
Did you see what I said? Mm-mm. The 10X planner isn't on a yellow legal pad. He won't use it.
I'm a big, this is what I do, Ryan Mudd. Hey, Bill Wilson, how's Seagrove Beach? She's right. I mean, I'll go through these. I love just writing on this stuff.
If I write on one, oh my gosh, I don't hear the end of it. Those are his.
They are mine. So getting back to what I'm talking about, and please fire questions, because that's what I really like to do the most is if you've got any question, maybe I can. Hey, Nagy just left my house, Bill Wilson. Imagine what your life would be like if you stayed on course. Imagine if you said if you started a plan and you executed that plan every day. Imagine the results that would follow. Brittany Renee's calling me out. Why am I not planning my day the night before, and why am I not executing that plan? And honestly, the only thing I can come up with is an excuse.
What's holding you back from getting what you really want? Because let's be honest, a lot of times you're in here looking at properties in 38.
Yeah.
Seagrove, Seaside,
mm-hmm.
watercolor.
Mm-hmm.
And so you know that's something that you really want to get to.
Yep.
So if you know that, and you know that's what's holding you back, then you got to do what it takes to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And if that means planning your day out because you think that's what's going to be what helps, use those 15 minutes that you just told people to do and do it.
You're right. So really the only thing I can offer you is a lame excuse.
Yeah, because you're telling other people to do it,
mm-hmm.
but you need to do it.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Hey, the Big Kahuna's on here.
I can call you out too.
You can call me out. I mean, you're right. And it's okay. What more people should do is just accept the fact, accept the truth. Don't try to make an excuse. Don't try to justify it. She's right in what she's saying. The first thing most people want to do, though, is get defensive. They want to prove themselves. Hey, Scott Nagy really liked you. Hey, two of my best friends today. We sat around in a big fancy office at First Bank for like an hour and a half. Scott Nagy is a he's one of these people that can read something or he can see something and he can just figure. So here's Scott. I mean, he talks about a smart person can see facts. Smart person can see something. Hey, Richard Fluharty, how you doing, friend? A smart person can see something and come to a conclusion. A genius can see beyond facts and create something well beyond that. So like Steve Jobs, that guy.
Yeah.
Scott Nagy was a genius at the time of creating Reliant Realty. When he saw something that the market needed, then he saw an opportunity to sell Reliant Realty. Genius. Last night, Brittany Renee, you were a genius when it came to sitcom trivia. You're a genius.
Thank you.
But you know what?
I got like 8 out of 10, didn't I? Or no, I ended up guessing all of them.
You did. So, okay, I will say this, because you do have me thinking about my planning. My day, a lot of my day is planned out. What time do I wake up? My day, a lot of what I do, I go in and do the same things every day.
Right, but the things that you're talking about, how is that going to get you a house in Seagrove? Waking up.
Okay, she's challenging me. And that's fine if she's going to challenge me on this. I should be able to be honest with myself and ask myself this. Am I doing everything that I could be to get my house? I want a house on 30 or in the 38 area. And if you ever look at real estate down there, it's very expensive. She's asking me because I'm sitting here telling people what would our life be like if you stayed on course. And then Richard Neese is on here. I'm using him as an example of how he probably plans his night out. He plans his day out the night before, and he executes it. She's calling me out, asking me if I'm doing it. So I am saying I do it my own way. But no, I do it my way. I do know what I'm going to come in and do. It is kind of blocked off, but I'm not reaching my potential. I'm not doing what I could do. Mm-hmm. So who am I letting down? I'm letting me down. I'm letting you guys down. I'm letting my mom down. I'm letting all the people down that could benefit from me having a house on 38.
Maybe. No,
but that is the truth. And it's okay to say that. People don't want to acknowledge the truth. That's why, BJ, I had, I don't know if you knew this or not, but I did have an in-office meeting with Grant Cardone in April, and I was there for 4 hours. And we were talking about it's okay to admit to yourself you've let yourself down. It's okay. Too often we want to justify things and say, give ourselves an excuse or give ourselves a reason for why something is not going our way. But hey, here's the bottom line. It's okay to say, you know what? That ain't good enough. A lot of people don't want to say that. They feel like they're losing their positivity. They feel like
Mom said get it done.
That's right, Mama. They feel like I don't know why they don't want to know what the truth is. Here's the truth. I am not operating anywhere close to my potential, and I don't think many people out there are. I mean, because I think most people could accomplish so much more.
What's the one thing you would go back and tell 21-year-old Tommy today that you know now?
Okay, well, hey, I like the what if, Richard. But hey, what would I go back and tell a 21-year-old? That's very simple. It's very easy for me. One person got me on the right track. Well, other than my mom and family members, mentor, John Jones. If I'm 21 years old, I'm going to go out and I'm going to find a mentor. And I don't care what industry it's in. I'm going to do whatever I can to work close proximity to somebody that I've got tons of respect for. A great person. And I'm not going to worry about the money I'm going to make. I'm going to only think about the back end reward that's going to come. Okay, so look at it like this, BJ. If you were a college football coach and your salary was going to be minimal, wouldn't you want to go work for Nick Saban? Wouldn't you want to go work for Urban Meyer? Would you care what you were paid? Lisa Progar's on here. So I would look at it like that. Who can I go get trained under so I can become the best? I would find a mentor. I would go work for somebody that is great at what they do. Even if it wasn't necessarily in the field that I want to be in, I'd want to go work around somebody great, a high-level achiever. And I would spend 4 or 5 years around that person. I wouldn't leave too soon. I would stay there until I felt like I can no longer thrive here. It's time for me to go do it on my own. So, hey, are you making a little note over there?
Yeah.
What was it about me?
Yeah, about what you're going to do. Tonight when we finish this, you're going to make the list for tomorrow.
All right. So, me working under John Jones, see, I feel like that's giving me a competitive advantage. I feel like by being John Jones' number 2 person over the last, Kyrie Sloan, over the last, John probably started trusting me over the last probably 5 or 6 years. For probably 8, 9 years, he probably had no reason to trust me. But over the last 5 or 6, I would say he definitely trusts me. And because of the fact that I got to work firsthand on so many deals with him, so many projects, it expedited my learning curve. It's just something I could not have gotten anywhere else. By working with him, let's just say after 2 years, I really had 5 years of experience. Great question, BJ. I appreciate that. That's something I would like to talk about one night. The benefits. Coach Burt did a show one time about taking the mentor over the check. What do you have, Renee? Any questions? We've been going almost. How long have we been going?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. It feels like we just got started, doesn't it? So have you been here a while?
A lot of information.
Has it been?
Yeah.
So,
Information.
do we have any more questions? Anything that you want to ask me? Anything. Fire something at me. Kyrie, I need you to come get a shirt. All that money is being donated. I don't get to keep any of it for my Dancing with the Stars shirt. So, you got me planning out my day. Should I feel bad for not doing it? Hey, Mama, only you can answer that question. Some people you might feel good. Hey, yeah, that's something that nobody can answer. Then only you can answer those kind of questions, because I got to answer the same question for myself. How do I feel about this?
Yeah, everybody's different.
Everybody, so yeah, it's your own way of how you feel about that. I appreciate everybody that's been on here tonight, but unless we got any more questions, we're probably going to shut it down. So, hey, think about this. Can you create a plan? Can you create stepping stone? Can you create a blueprint? Think of it in terms of a diet. You know, I've got to do this to get to that end result. Your life's like that. Financially, your work, hey, that's also in relationships. That's something we didn't talk about. Relationships, right? Ooh, Richard, nice 30-day planner challenge. Richard, can I use this right here as my planner? He's got a 30-day challenge. Ooh. Hey, Mama, you are you. Do you think I could plan my day for 30 days?
Hey, yeah. You like challenges. Challenges.
Well, you know what? Richard Neese, we ought to get a group together and have about 5 to 10 of us and have a planner challenge.
Take that many?
Just makes it better.
He's just asking for you to do it with him.
I'd like 5 or 10 of us. 5 of us.
You're
because
just stalling.
No. We can get 5 people tomorrow. Because whenever we did that without weight loss competition, whenever there's like 5 of you, it's just more synergy, more camaraderie. Dude, I'll tell you. I'm going to text you tomorrow.
Goodness.
I'm going to text you tomorrow by 10 o'clock a picture of my day tomorrow. How about that? I'll text you.
If not, he's going to make more money than just those 62 homes. He's going to make $25 more.
That's right. Well, you know what? I'm going to get everybody in my team. Hey, we're going to start doing this. We got to do an end of the year push right now.
Well, even Kathleen. I mean, she could do a night before or that morning when she first gets to work. Everybody on your team has a place where they can do that. Do you agree?
Yep.
Lisa, Kathleen, Charlie, Weatherman, everybody.
Weatherman may be a challenge, but we all should. You're exactly right. Can you see what 8 p.m. p.m. or a.m.? Can you see what BJ said?
Keep doing you. I think it's important to do you and to invest in yourself. I hope my questions have been challenging but create more content and information. Thanks for the interaction. Hope to get a face-to-face one day. Man,
let's do it, BJ. And I appreciate you asking these questions because it does help people think. It helps me think. And maybe I can say something because of one of the good questions you asked that added more to this little show tonight. So,
and I'm glad you did because I've been slacking this evening.
What are you doing over there? Are you here?
I'm here.
All right, guys, I got to send Richard Neese a picture of what I'm going to do tomorrow. So, hey, I really appreciate everybody that gets on here Thursday night, 8 o'clock. If you've got any ideas of what we could talk about in the future, I'm an open book. I'll tell you my story. Love doing that. I love the idea of knowing that maybe I'm helping somebody. So, guys, have a great night. Have a great weekend. Please share the stream because if you share the stream, I'm going to go back and pick one winner. They get a gift card for the Alley on Main, my favorite restaurant in Murfreesboro. Have a great night, everyone.